Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, today's going to be a quick video. Just got to come in and point out the hypocrisy of our adversaries. Now, today I seen that the French president, Emmanuel Macron, invited the leader of Syria to the National Palace. Yes, the leader of Syria, the former jihadist commander who had a $10 million bounty on his head from the United States government because he was known as an international terrorist just like 10 years ago. Somehow they done switched this jihadist. They gave him a suit. Now he's a diplomat. That reminds me of the clip that I played in my video from last week.
Let's be clear. The West doesn't care if a government is elected or installed by tanks. It only cares whether it serves Western interests. You can be a dictator if you want. Many friends of the West are dictators in the Middle East, in Africa, in Asia. As long as you serve their interests, you give them the wealth of your country, you obey their political and military orders, you are their beloved friend.
Now, the reason why it's ironic for me is because just last week, I saw an interview with Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, and he was actually speaking on the geopolitical situation in West Africa, right? As usual, using the typical buzzwords, democratic elections, the will of the people. And in fact, in that interview, he actually said the same exact thing that General Michael Langley had said at his testimony in that clip that went viral. Macron was saying, oh, they're taking the resources to protect themselves. They don't want to hold democratic elections. But as you can see, this former terrorist jihadist that he invited to the French National Palace, he was not elected democratically. He came to power through violence. He came to power through bloodshed. He came to power through the force of arms. He came to power by violating the democratic process. And this is the hypocrisy of our adversaries. That's why we don't take them seriously. Just like 10 years ago, this same exact individual had a $10 million bounty on his head from the United States government because he was known as an international terrorist who was the commander of a branch of al-Qaeda who was responsible for suicide bombings, torture, crimes against humanity, all types of barbaric behavior. Like I said, $10 million bounty on his head. Now, fast forward to today, he's known as an international diplomat, acknowledged by the Western powers, recognized as a head of state of a sovereign country. Like I said, former jihadist. And obviously, as you can see, he still retains elements of his former jihadist past because I can see that bulletproof vest underneath that cheap suit. I can see the bulletproof vest. So as you can see, he still maintains elements of his past of criminality, his past of barbarity when he was a jihadist cutting off heads. But whenever I see things like this, it simply confirms everything that I say. When they run their mouth about democracy and democratic elections and the will of the people, all of that is a smokescreen. All of that is a smokescreen because I guarantee if you are willing to play ball, if you are willing to serve their interests and keep things in place as they were, then I guarantee nobody will be talking about democracy, democratic elections. You could be a former jihadist, a former head chopper. You should be at The Hague for international crimes, but instead you're recognized as an international diplomat shaking hands with heads of state. Like I said, this man did not win a single election. This man overthrew the Syrian government by force, by spilling blood in the street. We talking about hundreds of people died, probably thousands of people died when this man came to power. But meanwhile, Macron is so shameless, he's shaking the hand of a criminal in front of the entire world. Like I said, man, the hypocrisy of our adversaries, it knows no bounds. I swear to God, it knows no bounds. Now, you could make the comparison with the military governments in the Sahel. Like I said, not a single person was shot, not a single person died, not a single milliliter of blood was spilled in those military takeovers, right? But let the Western governments tell it, man, they've been screaming and shouting about democracy. And if you notice, this terrorist leader, this former jihadist, he actually changed his name. I believe his name used to be, something Mohammad al-Julani. Now he changed his name to, Mohammad al-Sharaa or something like that, right? Because he's trying to separate himself from his jihadist past, right? They're trying to rebrand him and clean up the image, right? Like I said, he ditching the terrorist motorbike for the presidential motorcade. Like I said, man, former jihadist, former terrorist commander turned international diplomat being embraced in the Western capitals. Like I said, man, the hypocrisy of our enemies, it knows no bounds. It has no limits. And they are shameless. They are shameless in their hypocrisy. And can you believe these are the same governments and their NGOs and their international organizations that want to lecture Captain Ibrahim Traore about human rights violations? Meanwhile, look who they standing next to. Look whose hands they're shaking. A former international terrorist, a former head chopper, getting embraced in the Western capitals. Like I said, man, it's crazy, but it is what it is, man. That's the life. That's the reality of life, brothers. The hypocrisy of the adversary. Now, obviously, they're doing this because he's clearly serving their interests in one way or another. I'll be honest, I'm not the most well-read or well-researched when it comes to Syrian politics or Syrian foreign policy, but he would not be publicly embraced to this high of a level by France and the United States and various governments around the world if he wasn't playing ball, if he was not serving their interests. So clearly, this is their guy in Syria, regardless if he was a former jihadist commander. Obviously, they don't care. When it comes to their interests being served, their economic interests being defended, you could be a former international terrorist with a $10 million bounty, but like I said, man, if you down to play ball, they'll embrace you on the team. That's the reality of the matter, man. That's the reality of the matter. Swear to God. But anyways, man, I'm not going to be here too long, man. As you know, the channel is still currently demonetized. The case is still pending. So hopefully, I'll keep y'all updated when it comes to that. Support the channel in the Cash App in the description. Album out now, Sahel 1816. Go to my homepage, go to my playlist section. Enjoy the album, and I'm gone. Peace.
Told me she loved me and said that it's real. So independent, ain't signing no deal. Feel like a king and I'm up at Cap Henry. I'm in the citadel, top of the hill. Trying to run up and we let off a cannon. Secret location, I'm keeping it sealed. You ain't retaliate, Franco Medina. Came to the country and he got killed. You ain't retaliate, Rafi Mans. Thought you was loyal, thought you was real. Didn't even want to come pick up the body. Had your man locked up, he died in the cell. Up at the palace, I'm throwing a party. Right on the south and I'm giving them hell. And my little shorty, she looking exotic. African features, she casting a spell. Run to the check like I work on my fitness. Wake up each morning and handle my business. Say that she love me, she want my genetics. Wanna get married and make it official. Wanna get married and have all my babies. Up in the city, I'm riding Mercedes. Up in the city, they treat me like royalty. Feeling like Dolph, talking about lords. Spreading my wings and I had to get fly. Up in the top, an incredible vibe. Came from the bottom, I'm up in the sky. Gave one look and said, baby, you fine. Wake up each morning and handle my business. They just be talking, you see me, I live. Ride on my enemies, sounding like thunder. 1804, got that shit in my spirit. 1804 when I step in the building. 1804, that's word of my mother. Rock my women and die for my brother. Never gonna fall when I'm deep under pressure. Tell them we back and they better accept it. Move like a king, every step is divine. Ride on my enemies with no exception. Taking revenge and I'm taking what's mine. Pour up a drink and it's time that we toast. Watching my back, keep my enemies close. Only the family, I stick with my brothers. Cannons position outside of the coast. Heavy artillery for the protection. Move like a general, stick to the code. Feel like a king when I'm up in the north. Beautiful women, they trying to get chose. Launch an invasion all over the south. Capture the capital with all my woes. Look at my energy and my demeanor. Dripping that ice and that's head of my toes. Lately I'm flexing all on the Americans. Flexing my muscle on missing my road. Just got a carriage just coming from London. Boy, that shit cash, I ain't taking no loans. Boy, that shit cash, that's fresh on the boat. Enemy know I got millions in gold. Enemy know I got choppers and cannons. How did I do it? They can't understand it. How did I do it? It's cause I'm relentless. Call me King Harry, my name is cemented. Call me King Harry, I'm up in the palace. Call me King Harry, I'm raising the status.